Okay, welcome back to my channel, May Between the Pages. My name is Taylor, and today we're going to be doing my October TBR. September was not a good reading month for me. I had a lot going on in my life, so I really want to kind of get back on track in October. I still have a lot going on, but I really missed reading a lot last month. So I want to try to prioritize it a bit more this month. For many people, October is the time for spooky reads, for thrillers, and I do plan to keep some part of my TBR open for picking up those types of books when I kind of see one that sparks my attention. But this TBR doesn't focus specifically on those kinds of reads. I have a wide range of books that I plan on picking up this month, but first I want to start with the readathon I will be participating in. I'm going to be participating in the Black-Oween-Athon, which was created by the Locked Booktician. I'll go ahead and put the link down below to her channel. Please go check her out. She created this book tag specifically because Halloween typically doesn't have a lot of Black representation. A lot of the spooky movies that people watch and rewatch, like Hocus Pocus, I do that every single year, and a lot of the stories that we kind of rehash at this time of year don't really focus on Black creators or Black characters. So she created this tag specifically to increase that representation during this much beloved spooky time. There is a full list of prompts, but I'm going to be a little realistic with myself here and realize that with the other books that I want to pick up, I'm not going to be able to complete all of the prompts. I'll be sure to put a link to the full list below in the description. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using the bingo board that is also part of this readathon. I'm hoping to get a bingo in the third column going vertically in order to hit 4 of the prompts that are included in here. The first prompt is a mystery book by a Black author. So I'm going to stretch to its limit the definition of a mystery book here. Because I really want to read The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson. This is a spooky vibes witchy book about a girl who lives in a very puritanical town, and witches are considered like the devil. And at one point she discovers her late mother's journal. And she starts finding out what really happened in this town and what happened to the witches. And I'm gonna say that that is a mystery. And I've heard that this book really shows her coming into her power. And I'm just so down for reading that type of book right now in my life. And plus, I've been in the mood for a witchy book for a while now. So I really want to pick this one up. And I'm gonna call it a mystery because we do what we want here. The next bingo box prompt is to send a tweet about one of the books that you've read. So I am all about, spreading the news about good books, especially by authors of color. So I hope to fulfill this prompt as soon as I complete one of these books. The fourth prompt on this bingo board that I'm gonna follow is to read a book featuring Black sirens or Black mermaids. For this one, I'm going to choose The Deep by River Solomon. Now, I think you've probably seen this floating around because it has been getting hype recently, and pretty much everyone that reads it loves it and talks about how profound it is, especially for such a short book. I don't know too much going into this book. My understanding is that there's a community of Black sirens or Black mermaids that live in the deep, dark parts of the ocean, and it's about a book about storytelling, a book about remembering, where you've come from and the trauma that goes with that. And I've heard that it's just really beautifully written, and it's one of those books you have to read more than once in order to really grasp all of the things that are being discussed. And I'm really, really excited to finally get to this. I mentioned in my book haul that I wanted to read a book about gigantic sentient spiders, and I hate spiders, and I also have a really big fear of the ocean, so I don't know what my thing is about reading about, deep ocean books, because I also love Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant. So I guess I just really like to read about shit that scares me. I don't know, man. The fourth prompt on the bingo board is to read a fantasy book by a Black author. Now for this one, I'm going to be reading A Song of Wraiths and Ruin. This has been on my TBR, 2 TBRs now. 2. I promise that I will finally get to this, Tammy. Tammy over from Tammy Tries to Read sent this to me for my birthday in August, and I had full intentions to read it in August, and I had full intentions to read it in September. Here we are. That clearly hasn't happened. But I have seen really, really good reviews for this. I'm not a huge YA fantasy reader, but I've seen a lot of adult fantasy readers say that they really enjoyed this book, so I'm really looking forward to finally picking it up. The final book I'm going to be reading for the Black-Oween-Athon is Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin. This is the group read for the whole readathon, and I'm ashamed to say I've never read any James Baldwin, so I'm really excited to finally pick up this famed literary artist's work. I'm really excited to finally experience his writing. I don't know too much about Giovanni's Room, but what I do know is that it's about a gay main character who is writing about like his struggles and his relationships with different men, and I think he's living in Paris. So it seems to me like it's more of an introspective book looking at the struggles of our main character. Outside of the Black-Oween-Athon, I have about 5, maybe 6, I think, more books that I would like to get to in a perfect world. We'll see. The first book is not a we'll see thing, though, and that is Jade War by Fonda Lee. Wow, that shininess, really. Hope I'm not blinding you guys. I finally got this book in last month. If you've been around my channel, anywhere near my channel, you know that Jade City and Jade War are just my life, my loves. I haven't finished this book, but I'm assuming it's going to be even better than Jade City. I've been told it's better than Jade City. So the Greenbone Saga is just my obsession. And I got this in last month, and I had full intentions to pick it up. But I did not have time for physical reading outside of buddy reads, essentially, in the second half of the month, unexpectedly. So I didn't get to pick this baby up more than I did in the beginning of the month. You can see from my tabs that I did start reading the first, I think I'm 50, 60 pages into the book, and I was already completely sucked in. So I'm going to be picking this up, probably as my first read this month, and I am so excited. I also plan to finally pick up the second book in Hanazakari no Kimi Tachie, or Hanakimi for short. This is a manga series that I have been making very slow progress on on my channel. I do have a big Japanese test that I'm studying for later this year, and in order to pass that test, I need to get my reading comprehension speed much higher than it is right now. So I am using this series, which I love with all of my heart, to achieve that goal. This is the second book in a shoujo manga, cutesy, gender bender romance series. I have recommended this many times on my channel, but this is a story about a girl who disguises herself as a guy to go to an all-guys school in order to support and be close to one of the other students who is basically a celebrity high jumper. You know, shoujo manga is pretty famous for not having believable premises, just like this one, but the character work and just the slow burn romance aspect of this series is chef's kiss. So if you want something heartwarming, comedic, slow-moving, and just to enjoy the time it takes getting to know these characters, this is for you. I would also really like to start the sci-fi journey that I've been wanting to kind of jumpstart on my channel for a while this month with The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. I think I've mentioned before that this book was brought to my attention from Katie over on Brightness Katie Reads. She loves this book, and she talks about it like it's kind of a easy intro into sci-fi. It's not a hard sci-fi from what I know, and it's more of a feel-good human drama that includes space that will restore your faith in humanity. And I need that. I need those vibes. So I really, really do want to get to this book this month. The second to last book on this TBR is Words of Radiance by Brandon Sanderson. This, chunker of a book. I don't talk about Brandon Sanderson so much on my channel. I do plan to be making some Brandon Sanderson content to release to you guys soon because I am a huge fan of his. I just read a lot of his books before I actually started making videos for Booktube. But the Stormlight Archive is my favorite series by him, and this is my favorite book in the series. I am now a full 2.5 months behind on the Stormalong 2020. The Stormalong was a read-along that was supposed to help people prepare for the release of Rhythm of War, which is the 4th book in the Stormlight Archive series. That's coming out in November. So every 2 months you were supposed to reread one of the other books in the series. The first one being Way of Kings, second one Words of Radiance, the third one being Oathbringer, in order to prepare for the 4th book coming out. I really do need to reread these because it's been over a year and I don't remember details. So I don't want to go into Rhythm of War without having refreshed, but I just haven't had time to dedicate to these. So this month I really gotta, it might be impossible. It's October now. I might not be able to get through Oathbringer in time. You know what, we're gonna try. So I've been doing these via audiobook and loving it. So I've put a bunch of holds on this audiobook and hopefully I can get it in time to be able to read this book and maybe Oathbringer by the time Rhythm of War comes out. The last book on my TBR this month is going to be my retro Booktube Reads pick. If you're not aware, on my channel I have a series called Retro Booktube Reads. Retro Reads. What did I call that? If you're not aware, on my channel I have a series where I pick an old title that was popular on Booktube over 5 years ago before I really got into the community, and I read it now at this point in my life to see if I can understand what the hype was about when it first came out, and it was like a juggernaut in this community. Last month I read Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. I'll link the September wrap-up up above. Please go check that out for my thoughts on that. But let's see what I'm gonna read this month. Man down. Okay, it looks like I'm reading Lux by Jennifer L. Armentrout. Well, this is gonna be interesting. My understanding of this is that it's like a really trashy, cheesy, like vampire romance back from like when everyone was trying to copy Twilight, I think. And it's got kind of like a cult following of people who really still enjoy it but acknowledge it's not the best, but still get a lot of joy from it. So I'm really excited to pick this up, actually. I'm in the mood for something cheesy and vampire-y for October. Oh, I like this. I also just want to leave some open space on this TBR for any spooky or thrillery reads that catch my eye via audiobook or from my library, just because I might be in the mood for that. You know, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna watch my Hocus Pocus, I'm gonna eat my Japanese sweet potato flavored, foods, and I might be in the mood for something spooky. But besides that, these are the books that I would like to be able to pick up. That concludes my October TBR. Leave a comment down below if you've read any of these books. I know some of you have, some of you have been waiting for me to finally pick these up. So let me know down below if you've read any of these. What are your thoughts on them? Especially Lux. I'm interested to see what you guys think about that. But for now, I'm gonna head out. Done.